Let there be peace and love among all beings of the universe. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Om Shanti Shanti. Namaskar. Namaskar. Welcome to Satsang. Present moment, wonderful moment. Hello. Woodles the Toodles. How's it going? We're alive. Here we are, together in this moment. Just so you know, I do have a confliction within myself calling this satsang, because it's not satsang specifically. But there is this aspect which is coming out of sleep into the waking state. Who is this I? Contemplate that. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's something about dreams and reality, and it's the coolest thing. And it's like when you hear Papaji specifically, or like when Muji does the Om Namaste, welcome to Satsang, like that, it's like this. And Thich Nhat Hanh, when he does hello, we're in the Plum Village Monastery in Deer Park or something, whatever, on this day, and like that, it's this starting moment. It's like, this is the beginning of the experience. And there's something about that I really cherish, and specifically just giving an homage to Papaji specifically, because his is so beautiful. I don't know how to. It's so from the heart, and like the more times I hear it, the more it feels at home for me to say. I was kind of embarrassed because in my last episode, I was super eager, and I was like, I want to try it, and so it kind of comes through, and I'm like, dang it, but it's fine. Just practice all the time. Why? Not because this practice isn't for a performance. This practice isn't fake. This practice is the practice of life. Rep it again. Rep it again. Rep it again. Rep it again. Come back home. One more time. In, out. Calm, ease. Flower fresh. I would like to, I can't say recite a sutra, read a sutra. It is, once again, from the Plum Village recitation book. It is such a good book. It's so beautiful. I can't describe it in words, so we're just going to use the words that it gives freely. Not freely, but freely for me. In this moment, at least. So, this is the discourse on the full awareness of breathing. I guess it's not a sutra, it's a discourse. I heard these words of the Buddha one time when he was staying in the Sattvahi. Forgive me for my pronunciations. I'm gonna smudge all of these, but we're gonna try. In the Eastern Park, with many well-known and accomplished disciples, including Shariputra, Maha Mogha Liana. Mahakasapa. Mahakakayana. Mahakakiana. Mahakakotita. Mahakapina. I'm so sorry. Mahakuntra. Anurata. Revada. And Anyanda. I can't pronounce names. I thought I was going to try to make it through. I can't make it through at all. Maha means the greatest, or not the greatest, the great. See, this is why I do this to myself. This is what I was talking about, the practice. Because there's all these what I would consider impurities. And the impurities, when they spring forth from the iron, destroy the iron. Same with my impurities. And so it's like when I try to be pure and holy, all of this shines through. And I want that to happen so that in the future, like, it's genuine. Like, it's like, well, here I am. And so, and then the next time, here I am. And then rep it again, 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 rep it again. Become perfect. Not by any ideal of perfection, just become perfect as an infinite horizon. And so that's all I have to say about that. The senior bhikshus in the community were diligently instructing bhikshus who were new to the practice, some introducing 10 bhikshus, some 20, some 30, some 40. And in this way, the bhikshus who were new to the practice gradually were made great in their progress. That night, the moon was full, and the Pavarana ceremony was held to mark the end of the rainy season retreat. Lord Buddha, the awakened one, was sitting in the open air, and his disciples were gathered around him. After looking over the assembly, he began to speak. O bhikshus, I am pleased to observe the fruit you have obtained in your practice. Yet, I know you can make even more progress. What you have not attained, you can attain. What you have not yet realized, you can realize perfectly. To encourage your efforts, I will remain here until the next full moon day. When they heard the Lord Buddha was going to remain in Savatthi for another month, bhikshus throughout the country began traveling there to study with him. The senior bhikshus continued teaching the bhikshus new to the practice even more ardently. Some were instructing 10 bhikshus, some 20, some 30, some 40. With this help, the newer bhikshus were able, little by little, to continue their practice in understanding. It's so beautiful. When the next full moon day arrived, the Buddha, seated under the open sky, looked over the assembly of bhikshus and began to speak. Ho bhikshus, our community is pure and good. At its heart, it is without useless and boastful talk, and therefore it deserves to receive offerings and be considered a field of merit. Such a community is rare, and any pilgrim who seeks it, no matter how far they must travel, will find it worthy. O bhikshus. Oh my god. O bhikshus. There are bhikshus in this assembly who have realized the fruit of arhatship, destroyed every root of affliction, laid aside every burden, and attained right understanding and emancipation. There are also bhikshus who have cut off the first 5 internal knots and realized the fruits of never returning to the cycle of birth and death. There are those who have thrown off the 3 internal knots and realized the fruit of returning once more. They have cut off all roots of greed, hatred, and ignorance, and will only need to return to the cycle of birth and death one more time. There are those who have thrown off the 3 internal knots and attained the fruit of stream enterer, countering and will attain the fruit of stream enterer, coursing steadily to the awakened state. There are those who practice the four establishments of mindfulness. There are those who practice the four right efforts. And there are those who practice the four bases of success. There are those who practice 5 faculties, those who practice the 5 powers, those who practice the 7 factors of awakening, and those who practice the Noble Eightfold Path. And there are those who practice loving kindness, those who practice compassion, those who practice joy, and those who practice equanimity. There are those who practice the 9 contemplations, and there are those who practice the observation of impermanence. There are also bhikshus who are already practicing full awareness of breathing. O bhikshus, the full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced continuously, will be rewarding and bring great advantages. It will lead to success in practicing the 4 establishments of mindfulness. If the method of the 4 establishments of mindfulness is developed and practiced continually, it will lead to success in the practice of the 7 factors of awakening. The 7 factors of awakening, if developed and practiced continuously, will give rise to understanding and liberation of the mind. What is the way to develop and practice continuously the method of full awareness of breathing so that the practice will be rewarding and offer great benefit? It is like this, bhikshus. The practitioner goes into a forest, or to the foot of a tree, or to any deserted place, sits stably in the lotus position, holding his or her body quite straight, and practicing like this. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in a long breath, I know I am breathing in a long breath. Breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a long breath, I know I am breathing out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath, I know I am breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a short breath, I know I am breathing out a short breath. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I am aware of my whole body. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I calm my whole body. Breathing out, I calm my whole body. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I feel joyful. Breathing out, I feel joyful. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I feel happy. Breathing out, I feel happy. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I calm my mental formations. Breathing out, I calm my mental formations. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I am aware of my mind. Breathing out, I am aware of my mind. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I make my mind happy. Breathing out, I make my mind happy. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I concentrate my mind. Breathing out, I concentrate my mind. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I liberate my mind. Breathing out, I liberate my mind. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I observe the impermanent nature of all dharmas. Breathing out, I observe the impermanent nature of all dharmas. Breathing in, I observe the disappearance of desire. Breathing out, I observe the disappearance of desire. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I observe the no birth, no death nature of all phenomena. Breathing out, I observe the no birth, no death nature of all phenomena. He or she practices like this. Breathing in, I observe letting go. Breathing out, I observe letting go. He or she practices like this. It's just the feeling I am. It's what I associate with that phrase. I am full of emptiness, like that. The full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced continuously according to these instructions, will be rewarding and with great benefit. In what way does one develop and continuously practice the full awareness of breathing in order to succeed in the practice of the four establishments of mindfulness? When the practitioner breathes in or out a long or short breath, aware of his breathing or his whole body, or aware that he is making his whole body calm or at peace, he abides peacefully in the observation of the body and the mind. They're resting in their own being. I'm so sorry. It's so beautiful. No, don't lose the page. Thank you. He abides peacefully in the observation of the body in the mind, persevering, fully awake, clearly understanding his state, gone beyond all attachment and aversion to this life. These exercises of breathing with full awareness belongs to the first establishment of mindfulness, the body. When the practitioner breathes in or out, aware of joy or happiness, the mental formations, or to make the mental formations peaceful, he abides peacefully in the observation of the feelings in the feelings, persevering, fully awake, clearly understanding his state, gone beyond all attachment and aversion to this life. These exercises of breathing with full awareness belong to the second establishment of mindfulness and feelings. When the practitioner breathes in or out with the awareness of the mind, or to make the mind happy, to collect the mind in concentration, or to free and liberate the mind, he abides peacefully in the observation of the mind in the mind, persevering, fully awake, clearly understanding his state, gone beyond all attachment and aversions to this life. These exercises of breathing with full awareness belong to the third establishment of mindfulness, the mind. Without full awareness of breathing, there can be no development of meditative stability and understanding. When the practitioner breathes in or breathes out and contemplates the essential impermanence of and the essential disappearance of desire and the no birth, no death nature of all phenomena, or letting go, he abides peacefully in the observation of the objects of mind in the objects of mind, persevering, fully awake, clearly understanding his state, gone beyond all attachment and aversion to this life. These exercises of breathing with full awareness belong to the fourth establishment of mindfulness, the objects of mind. The practice of full awakening of breathing, full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced continuously, will lead to the perfect accomplishment of the four establishments of mindfulness. Moreover, if they are developed and continuously practiced, the four establishments of mindfulness will lead to perfect abiding in the seven factors of awakening. How is this so? When the practitioner can maintain, without distraction, the practice of observing the body in the body, and the feeling in the feelings, the mind in the mind, the objects of the mind in the objects of the mind, persevering, fully awake, clearly understanding her state. Aww. I really like when scriptures acknowledge female, because that is sadly a lot less common. And it doesn't say his or her state. It says clearly understanding her state, gone beyond all attachment and aversion to this life. With unwavering, steadfast, impenetrable. No, but it's something to that extent. Meditative stability. She will attain the first factor of awakening, namely mindfulness. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. When the practitioner can abide in meditative stability without being distracted, and can investigate every dharma, every object of mind that arises, then the second factor of awakening will be born and developed in her, the factor of investigating dharmas. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. When the practitioner can observe and investigate every dharma in a sustained, persevering, and steadfast way without being distracted, the third factor of awakening will be born and developed in her, the factor of energy. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. When the practitioner has reached a stable, imperturbable abiding in the stream of practice, the fourth factor of awakening will be born and developed in her, the factor of joy. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. When the practitioner can abide undistractedly in the state of joy, she feels her whole body and mind light and at peace. At this point, the fifth factor of awakening will be born and developed, the factor of ease. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. When both body and mind are at ease, the practitioner can easily enter into concentration. At this point, the sixth factor of awakening will be born and developed in her, the factor of concentration. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. When the practitioner is abiding in concentration with deep calm, and she will cease discriminating and comparing. At this point, the seventh factor of awakening is realized, born, and developed in her, the factor of letting go. When this factor is developed, it will come to perfection. This is how the four establishments of mindfulness, if developed and practiced continuously, will lead to perfect abiding in the seven factors of awakening. How will the seven factors of awakening, if developed and practiced continuously, lead to the perfect accomplishment of true understanding and complete liberation? It goes more! It goes farther! Dear God! If the practitioner follows the path of the seven factors of awakening, living in quiet seclusion, observing and contemplating the disappearance of desire, he will develop the capacity of letting go. This will be a result of following the path of the seven factors of awakening and will lead to the perfect accomplishment of true understanding and complete liberation. This is what the Lord, the Awakened One, said, and everyone in the assembly felt gratitude and delight at having heard his teachings. And this comes from the Anapanasati Sutra, Majjhima Nikaya 118. Hello. My name is Jacob. Nice to meet you. Thank you, God, for this moment, for this. Hi, Shaman. So, hello. In this moment, you are my audience because you are there and I am here. Thank you. I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? I just had the inclination to say that I'm sorry. There's nothing really to be sorry for. Because I didn't do anything wrong. But my content is not what I would like it to be. But that's completely fine given my circumstances. But if it were completely up to me, which in one way it is because it's my life and my decisions, and so I can take responsibility for it in that way. But in the other way, this is just, I'm doing the best that I can, boom. But I really do want to make good educational content. I do want to be a better practitioner so that I can be a better example of a practitioner. And I hope that moving forward, what I want to acknowledge at this point in the journey is that I am not perfect, and I am very clearly putting on, not a mask, because it is genuine. It's just not like that. I can't even say that what it's not. It's just what it is isn't what I want it to be. And so, like, I am not the Buddha, basically. And there's nothing wrong with not being the Buddha. But I would like to be as close to the Buddha. I can't really describe it in that way. But I want you to see that I didn't start off great. So that as I become great through the practice, no one thinks that it's me who is great. The universe is great. God is great. Because of his grace, through the law, through all of this, just education in general, just knowledge, and the beauty and wonders of the mind and the imagination when put to good use. And again surrendering to and as Christ, just selfless love, just I wish that I could be a better example of that. And so going forward, I hope to become that, and through the practice. And the practice is given to me by grace, and from my point of view. And so I am so continuously thankful. And I hope to someday be perfect in the way that what we just talked about, where when you cultivate these, when you water these seeds, when you cultivate these traits, these qualities, they themselves take on a life of their own, and just the wheel just spins, and it just, I don't know how to describe it, but there's no more I. But even that's an ideal, because I cannot say that there will ever be no more I. If there is no I, then Ramana Maharshi can speak on that on that situation. I cannot. But I hope to someday be at that point. And so before I am at that point, I want to acknowledge that I am not. And that if I do get to that point, then it is possible for you to get to that point, because I am not at that point. I am a kid from Indiana that hated school, and shit happened, life happened. Here I am, I'm 20, and I've just had some desire towards curiosity and imagination, and my life fell into my hands the way that it did, just as life does, because life already exists. It's already going on, doing its thing. You just are born into it, and then you find your place in it. And my place was the place of the opposer, but like playfully fun, energetic, childlike, and just being in that, and then encountering suffering, and then getting through the suffering, finding the practice, and coming back to the complete spaciousness of love through Jesus Christ our Lord. And over and over and over again. And then being in the church and seeing I don't want to step on anyone's toes. But Martin Luther, like that's not Jesus Christ. No. And like when you see the church being discriminative and not being everything it says it is, and the one way that I see this, that like even pastors for the most part hold on to, is the idea of other religions are idolatrous, and they are not, in the sense that this is an idol, so much as this is an idol. But neither one of them I bow down to, even if I'm physically bowed down onto the ground because I'm having some emotion from looking at what I perceive to be the eyes of Jesus, because up there's a Jesus poster and he's just out there. Muji made it. It's so beautiful. You can see it, honestly. It's one of my favorite things. That, like, if I just stare into those eyes and fall in love, it's not about the idol, it's not about the image of Christ, it's about the internal experience that's coming from the heart by grace. And if I have the same experience with the Buddha, or if I've completely accepted my death and I'm there at the feet of Shiva and we're dancing, if it's no difference, because these beings aren't, I can't even speak as to whether they're actual beings. Like, I could say that possibly they're Elohim. I could say, I don't know. But I read the Upanishads and it's like, dear Jesus Christ, these people understand consciousness. And like, I read through the entire Bible. It's such a beautiful experience. But in the sense, I got what I was looking for in Christianity. Exactly as it is, perfect art piece, all for Jesus, yes. But as someone who has questions about consciousness, what is the nature of reality? The Bible doesn't really have those answers. The Upanishads, on the other hand, if you know how to read them, I'd imagine it's the same thing. Like, you have to have eyes to see, ears to hear. Because and like the Dhammapada, and like all the Tao Te Ching, all of these things, it's mind-blowing after mind-blowing up, and when you've listened to them enough, it's just like, oh, they're talking about the same thing, and I'm really I really want to get it all down to where I've listened to it enough, memorized it enough, written down it enough to where, like, I can literally connect it for people who have never seen it and show you how this is the same thing. It's I really like this. Obviously, it's a big thing hanging up, but you see, obviously, there's the Om symbol at the center, and then you have like these individual strands that are like, it's a phrase. I don't know what the phrase says. I would like to, but it just goes out in one direction, but then it goes out in the next direction, and then the next direction. But all of them stem from the same source, and it can go from in infinitely many directions. And you can see like the yellow, you can see the outer powder pattern. It goes yellow, green, big green, green, yellow, green, big green, green, yellow, green, and like how all of those yellows is its own like strand. And just study it, look at it. Reality is like that. Like, it all stems from that source, that same source, which is I, the birth of the I thought. And it's the purity of I am. It's the Dharma itself. It's God. It's the Buddha. It's consciousness. And the mind subsides into itself. Poodles. I originally grew my hair out. I was going to be a man that lived in the forest, and I was literally going to have vines in my hair. So I was never going to put my hair up. And I like wearing my hair down, but now I work at a warehouse. Slight detour of realities. It's fine. It's all just consciousness. But, yeah. So I got used to wearing my hair up, but I don't like wearing my hair up. Like, I don't like the way that it looks. I like my hair down. That's why I have long hair. But, yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God, thank you. It's this moment, just love. It's the purity of silence. It's actually, you want to know what it is, slash what it's not? I'm gonna get copyrighted so hard. It's fine. If I get copyrighted by these people, I would be thankful on my knees. So it's fine. I will be right back. I'm gonna show off the new thing that I got. Ah, my legs. Oh, great. I have The Invitation by Muji. Oh, it makes me so happy. I've listened to it thousands of times. I have it. I can literally just sit and look at the page for like 20 minutes, even though it only has like 20 words. So we're just going to start going through. I'm going to start at the questions, but the page that I open to is remain empty, like zero. Don't go backward or forward, and don't pick up any new concepts or ideas. Recognize this effortless place. You are now inside the heart as the heart itself. Simply rest in and as what remains by itself. This is your natural state. There is no next thing to do or undo. There are no concepts here. There is no time, no past, no future, not even now. There is nothing to keep, compare, or to expect. You are beyond form, indefinable, yet fully here. Stay quiet, don't rush. Allow some space around this discovery. This space that is effortlessly here, which I refer to as isness, or what is, though indescribable, it is fully alive, isn't it? Like an ungraspable, vast intelligence. Are you aware of this? And this one took me a while to get, so I would just like to add my personal pointer of imagine no one's there, but you're talking, and a response comes from within your own self, your mind, and it's usually something as simple as why, but it arises from a deeper place. You don't really think about it, but think about it. That, who are you talking to? It's that, really what you're talking to is like the wall or something, or the air, or, but it's as if it was listening, and you can hear as if it was listening. And this response comes, and if you've contemplated this deep enough, you can play both roles simultaneously. But it's this vast intelligence is basically talk to the universe. Imagine what that would be like if the universe was embodied in a non-body, just as it is, talk to it. And responses come, intelligent responses, like it's the source of intelligence of itself, and so it's the self. It's that is how a pointer of how to get that one. Anyway, and also I experienced this directly after I finished the breathing exercises. Like when it got to letting go, it was my mind shut up, turned back inward into itself, and then I merged with the heart, and then things arose, like sounds, like cars from outside or something. Just the world. I became aware of the world. And that's the intelligence. I'll be right back. Boom. Is the isness an object? Is it a feeling? Does it feel strange or unfamiliar to you? I would consider the isness that which arises when I subside. Everything that is the isness, but it's the context in which that exists. But like space and stars are synonymous in our minds, like that. Does it have limitations or any boundary beyond which it is not? Does it have any image or form? For instance, can it be photographed or captured in some way? Can it have or be troubled by desires, attachments, or fears? And again, basically what we are talking about is nothing. Can emptiness, have troubles or be troubled, have or be troubled by desires, emptiness, or attachments, or fears? Can the isness belong to or be owned by any person, religion, philosophy, or doctrine?